St. George, Utah, that does the weekly huntingfishing.com newsletter. And as always, the newsletter's got some pretty interesting stuff in it, Doug. I got to tell you, you just can't make up the stuff that goes around the country. I want to start with your lead story. Alaskan officials kill nearly 100 brown bears. What in the world is up with that?
Their wildlife agencies up there took the decision because of the reduction in the caribou herds over the last 20 years are pinpointed to bears and wolves. So they elected to go out and they eradicated 94 brown bears, 5 black bears, and 5 wolves.
That's not near enough wolves. I don't know what they're thinking, but go ahead.
Because I would think the wolves would be your main predator for caribou, I would think. But in 1997, the caribou population was around 200,000. That dropped to 12,000 in 2017. Huge decline. And I understand where they might be coming from, but wouldn't it make more sense to open up bear season?
Yeah, it'd make more sense to me to start removing the wolf.
That and give some hunters the opportunity to go after some brown bears. I don't know.
Well, that's true. That's true. I agree with the reduction of the apex predators to a certain extent. They need to be managed as well. But this thing with the wolf thing, this is out of hand. This is got political skid marks on it, and it needs to be dealt with. We're facing Colorado turning loose the big wolves. They're going to go to Colorado. They'll make their way into Utah, and then they'll make their way to Arizona. And we're having some very, very heated discussions with Colorado. Number one, it starts with the term, "What the hell are you thinking?" We've got a pristine deer herd in northern Arizona that we're fighting to save. We've got Mexican gray wolves that are not supposed to be north of the 40, so what are they doing? The antis and the pro-wolf lovers need to be exported to China, as far as I'm concerned. So, they keep moving the goalpost with the Mexican grays. We're trying to keep them south of the 40, so what are they doing? They're turning the big gray wolves loose north of the 40 in Colorado. We're hearing, well, they're going to set up buffers. Yeah, really? Okay. I think the sporting community here is going to take a real dim view of gray wolves coming into Arizona. So,
well, look what I talked about during the radio show. Minnesota has a population of 2,700 gray wolves.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, the antis are winning. That's all I can say. I need to get off this. What else is going on?
All right, let's move around the country a little bit. In Iowa, they have created a year-round open season for raccoons.
That sucks if you're a raccoon.
Yeah, it sure does. They're offering in Wyoming a resident-only wild bison license raffle. The deadline on that is June 15th.
Really? Now, is that open to non-residents?
No, just residents.
Oh.
Yeah. And the Wildlife Board in Utah votes to prohibit harvest of trumpeter swans.
Good.
I don't know the issue with them. I don't know how good they are, etc. But apparently they need to close it down in order to increase the population.
Yeah, I agree. Good. They don't need to be shooting them to begin with, period, ever.
No, I don't know why you would.
I don't know either.
Around a little bit, Nebraska has opened up the 2024 mountain lion season. That's been approved. So lots going on around the country. More to report, but we'll just move on. In fishing, out of Nebraska, a man by the name of Chuck Hensel caught a record common carp that was over 40 inches long and weighed in at 39 pounds, 8 ounces.
What do you know what that carp bait was?
No, I don't think so. Let me take a quick look here. A waxworm.
Waxworm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't find a smaller bait, but apparently, good grief.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where it goes. Anyway,
just curious on
that. Yeah. Moving on down, I do put some videos out there that I see once in a while that just kind of make sense to me. One of them being, what you need to know about using swim worms. I'm not going to go into it, but
that's a good video. I've seen that video. It's a good resource.
That's what I try to provide for people that sign up for the newsletter. Need some information, I'll give it to you. On that note, if you will, and good fishing good fishing rules, or your rule of thumb, should be take care of your fishing line. And I think most fishermen, especially tournament fishermen, know how critical that is. I've never been a tournament fisherman, but I knew every year before I went out, I always reloaded my reels. Just to be sure, especially the nylons, fluorocarbon's probably the same thing, I suppose. I don't know. But mostly what kills that line, and you know this, Don, it's sunshine. So it breaks down that nylon filament pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say bass tournament fishermen, for the most part, we had Greg Kruger in here and talking about line change. I'm not worried about my line getting aged because it doesn't last that long. It'll be every other tournament, most likely getting it changed out. And even if you have brand new line on last tournament and you go into a high level tournament, what's the first thing you do? You change the line out. Yeah. So let's just say this way, we waste a lot of line. And, for budgeting purposes, you can backwind on another reel, from reel to reel. So you use the other half of the line that's not being used. It's been buried on the reel.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Just a
suggestion. They have discovered up in Minnesota, the wolves up there, which we just talked about, are eating more fish in the spring than they are any other prey. And that was a discovery, made by the University of Manitoba. Interesting. I did not know that occurred, and maybe it's easier for them. I don't know.
Well, these guys, what happened? They get out of the schoolroom and get out in the field. Good God, where do they come up with this crap?
I don't know. They're looking for something to do. Hey, let's talk about wolves and what they eat in the spring.
Well, what about the population of other ungulates that have been in the decline? Do they talk about that?
No, that isn't in the conversation.
These wolves, and this is what the antis don't give a shit about. They eat everything in sight. We used to have a wonderful moose population, Alaska and Canada and in the northern states. Utah, and you do the math on this and explain to me why this is okay. Utah has the highest resident population of moose in the lower 48. Why? It's because the wolves ate everything in every place else.
I don't have a foggiest idea.
They don't. They just need to exile them and ship them to Canada.
Well, sure. Well, moving on. A note in legislation. This is kind of interesting. In California, they put out a piece of legislation called AB 1594. is the unconstitutional law which permits and encourages civil suits against members of the firearm industry for the damages caused by the actions of criminals.
What?
I don't know. Did Newsom just get back from Disneyland when he wrote this? I mean, I don't get this.
Yeah.
This makes absolutely no sense to me, period. It also allows filing a lawsuit against a firearm industry member to be filed by a person who has suffered harm in California.
This is ridiculous.
I know. It's just out of the sight. Stupid.
Okay. Along with the pro-warfers, they need to send Newsom to China. Cool.
Yeah. You know, and included in this, your First Amendment rights are restricted, they're restricting protected free speech advertising of constitutionally protected products that are lawfully made and sold, even when the advertising takes place outside of California borders. Newsom just breached his border,
Yeah.
and it covers every state in the union as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
Oh, man, I don't know. All right, moving on. We can't get too in-depth here. Hey, have you heard about this other legislation to mitigate shark depredation? Now, this is damage imposed by sharks on species targeted by fishermen. And in a nutshell, okay, it's when you've got a fish on the line and a shark comes up and grabs that fish and bites it
Happened to
in
you,
half.
happened to me all the time. Yeah. Been there, done that.
This is stupid as the stupid does. I don't get this. All fishermen experience this one way or the other. You know, I've had pike come up and take half of my fish.
Oh, sure.
Well, what am I going to do? Scream and cry and carry on? File suit with somebody? I don't know. That is so stupid. All right, last but not least, Bound Arms has now come up with this is one of their smaller guns. Not a small, but it's called the Cyclops. It is a 45-70 weapon. I just don't know. Can you hang on to this gun?
Well, let me ask you this. Will that chamber and successfully fire a 45 long colt or a 410? Or is it just
No.
relegated to the 45-70 loads?
It's a 45-70. There's another series that's going to come out that will handle a 454 or
Oh,
a 44
no.
Magnum.
Yeah, 44 Magnum is okay, but that 454 Casal, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
don't
think
know how
I'll
you
pass
hang on
on
to
that.
this gun.
Uh-uh.
$700. That's what it costs.
That's no.
I'll keep my 45. All right, Don, that wraps it up, buddy.
Okay, well, that's a good newsletter, guys. If you don't get the newsletter, you can sign up for that at huntingfishing.com. Just go to the news section and use the pull-down menu and follow it along. You can get Doug's newsletter every week. Good stuff on here, Doug. There are some things that obviously we need to look into, and Newsom's going to be one of those. And then the
Oh gosh, yeah, I hear about him every week.
yeah,
He's in the news
all
the time.
I appreciate the work that some of these wildlife agencies do. When they come out with a statement like Minnesota does on the wolves, oh my God, they eat fish. You just have to slap somebody. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. That's it. I run across these type of articles all the time, Don. Somebody doing stupid stuff. It just amazes me.
They're going to get a phone call. I'm going to find out who stupid is back there.
Well, that's our world now.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, especially in California. All right, we're going to
That's
get
good.
out of here, get on with the day. Good job. Sign up for the newsletter. I'm Don McDowell. Doug's at the Dairy Queen. We'll do this again.